right. Hello, everyone. I am Kunal. I'm Kunal Tripathi, based out of Calgary. I'm part of UpCITY. I'm CTO at UpCITY, and we deliver 311 solution. Thank you all for joining for today's webinar. Today's webinar topic is all about transforming 311 using Dynamics 365 and seeing how Dynamics 365 customer service, contact centers, and the whole Microsoft ecosystem really work together to simplify citizen engagement for the citizen as well as for the agent and the supported staff from the cities and municipalities. We have an amazing line of the speakers today. We have an amazing lineup of the speakers today. So the agenda for the day today is going to be, we'll talk about UpCITY, we'll share who we are. We'll go and talk about Dynamics 365 customer service and contact center and how that really changes things. We'll talk about UpCITY 365, which is an accelerator we have built on the platform. And we'll talk less and we'll show you more. And that's when we get into the demo in action, and we'll show you the whole thing end to end, how it really functions. And we have Aziz from Microsoft here who will be talking about what's the roadmap with the product and the funding around it. And then we'll close with Q&As and anything else. Let's meet the speakers. We have an amazing line of speakers, starting with me. And so I have already introduced myself, so I'll directly pass it on to Robert.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, and a big thank you to Misa for hosting us and giving us this chance to speak to you all. I'm a Microsoft Dynamics 365 functional consultant, and I'm the municipal and 301 lead here at UpCITY. And I've been working with Dynamics now for almost 18 years, and specifically with 311 actually for nearly 15 years, and as well as municipal and public sector clients. So I'm really excited about what we've put together, and I'm really passionate about making call centers better and providing better citizen engagement between cities and their customers. So I'm hoping we can show you how we can use Microsoft to do that today. And with that, I'll pass it along.
Oh, I can go next. Thanks, Rob and Kunal, and hello and welcome everyone who have joined from various parts of Canadian municipality to this webinar. So I'm Aziz Amir, lead solution specialist and public sector lead, part of the small medium enterprises corporation within Microsoft. I've been part of Microsoft for the last 13 years and for a long time in the Dynamics space, almost as long as Rob, and working with government across Canada to help transform their scenarios like 311 and many others as well. So I mean, kind of looking forward to this particular webinar. We'll also talk a little bit later about the investments we're making, especially in the AI space, within fusing everything within Dynamics 365 as well, and that will be a good kind of a segue to the next webinar as well. And I also want to talk about a lot of funding that we're bringing in, especially around the contact center, Copilot Studio, low-code offerings, again, all relevant to this particular conversation. So I can be your point of contact for any of that. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Josh and come back later.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Aziz. Yeah, my name is Josh Cook. I'm the delivery lead here at UpCITY. I've been in Microsoft MVP since 2019. Mainly, my main focus lately has been on helping cities modernize their service intake with 311s, with Power Platform, Dataverse, Power Pages, Dynamics 365, all the great stuff, especially with Copilot and Copilot Studio. I've also contributed to the Microsoft COE automation kit, and I also lead the Calgary Business Applications community group, user group. So if you're interested in that, I can drop a link in the chat about joining that. But yeah, today's going to be a great session, and looking forward to seeing how everyone is going to utilize this. And I'll pass it back over to you, Kunal.
Yeah, as Josh was talking about, we are all about community. I am a Microsoft MVP. I've been in the program for 7 years. Josh has been for 6 years. We have 2 other Microsoft MVP in the team. And we have been always in the forefront of technology since the initial days. My foray into Dynamics 365 and Power Platform was with Power Pages and like with Edic Studio. Edic Studio used to be the platform that Microsoft actually procured and converted into Power Pages. So I was part of the Edic Studio team. And after Edic Studio, I was part of a couple of others, like was part of Adoxio and was part of KPMG and other places. And one of the prime thing we were doing was implementing 311 solutions for across the globe. And like later on, Aziz will show a slide with all the different cities which actually uses 311. And I can point my fingers and I can count all of them that like I had my hands on. And this is not only true for me, this is true for a lot of the team members in my project, in my team, who actually bring in the expertise around Dynamics 365 Power Platform and Municipal CRM and how that really works. Now, what we do, we are not generalist. So we are very specialist and we are very focused on what we really do. And our core focus is Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. And our North Star is a bit of a Power Pages. We bring in unmatched expertise in Power Pages when it comes to it. And Municipal 311 has always been our focus area that we work in. And that's where we really do, really shine. With that, let's talk about what we are here to talk about. And we are here to talk about customer service and the experience. Like often when you talk about customer service, people say, like the product is really bad or they're not getting the support that the services it is. And it is not often about the product or the service as a challenge. It's often about that how they are receiving the service, that itself is a challenge. Today's world, everybody is using different kind of means to communicate with each other. So, like customers and the citizens actually use live chat sometimes. Some people likes to email, some people like to SMS, sometimes look to, I want to pick the phone number and I want to call. And all of these systems, most of the time municipalities has different systems to actually address these different channels. And they all get routed through different things. So it's hard for citizens to get the similar experience because, like somebody has emailed and when they call, there is no context of that email when they actually called about it. And, like that whole context is missing. So leading to siloed data, fragmented system, and inconsistent experience. And this is what Microsoft Customer Service Platform really tries to solve. And when we talk about Microsoft Platform, there are three main pillars to it. And like there are more pillars, but like in customer service context, one is Microsoft 365. Everybody is well aware of. We are having this webinar over the Teams, so like Outlook, Teams, Words, PowerPoint, Excel. That's the space we often live in. And then there is a Microsoft Dynamics 365, and there are a lot more applications in Dynamics 365, but two pivotal for municipalities is one is customer service and field service. Of course, there is a contact center which goes on top of it, but those are the three pivotal which really empowers like case management solutions and like knowledge management solutions and everything else around it. And then you have the low-code solution, which is the abstracted platform coming out of Dynamics, which really allows you to build your own custom apps, build your own power, like Power Pages, automation, co-pilots, or dashboards using Power BI. And they are all linked and within together in Microsoft ecosystem, which really provides you the platform and like unifies everything you are having with the experience. Now, all of this, like today, everything we talk about is Copilot. So, like Copilot is everywhere, like it's there in your Outlook, it's there in your customer service, it's there in the low-code platform. And that really is binding everybody together as well as increasing the productivity. And we'll see some of that in action today. Now, how does Dynamics 365 customer service and contact center really work together? Like citizens and residents, they can use any channel that works for them. They can go and reach out through whatever means that is really available to them or they want to leverage. And that can really come, and it can come directly to agent. It can go through an IVR process. It can go through a chatbot, an agenting process, where then intelligent assistance could be provided directly. So basically, a chatbot itself can actually handle the call, provide the information. Like simple things like somebody wants to know about the status of their permit. They can just go in and provide the permit number and get the status of it. So simple things like that can be really handled, as well as when that becomes more than what the automated chatbot or the voice bots can actually handle, they can transfer that call to an agent who can actually continue the conversation, having the context of what has been spoken, what customer was asking for, and provide an assistance. And customer and service representative has a lot of these tools already available for them to really outshine, like say, for example, Copilot, having escalation collaborations tools that really bake it and simplify the agent to actually provide the response in a fast, efficient manner. And the key thing I find is, like, oftentimes you say that, hey, like, I called this airline, I wanted to talk to rebook my flight or whatever I want to do. I had a great experience. And somebody else calls and like, oh, I called, I had a really bad experience. And it boils down to personality of agent. But having these tools removes all those barriers, because every time the service is being provided, it is consistent, because every agent is using similar kind of tools, similar kind of process to provide the information. Now, Dynamics 365 and contact center, when we talk about, it is built. It's a platform built by Microsoft. It's a solution built by Microsoft, and it is industry agnostic. So it is being used by banking, it is used by retail, it is used for railroads, it is used for all sorts of use cases. And every industry, when this adopts the platform to manage their case management or customer service, they add in configuration, they add in customizations in order to really have the value proposition of the platform, but make it their own, so that they can deal with things that they really need to deal with. And we have been implementing Dynamics 365 311 solution for years. And what we have found is that oftentimes such implementation and configurations happens in time. So, like, people take an app, copy an app, create another app, do the customization on top of it, and you end up having an app which stays same throughout the time, throughout the life cycle. So you stop getting benefits from what improvement Microsoft is doing on the platform. You get locked in with those things. And what we have done is we have taken a very different approach. Instead of customizing the platform, we have looked into extending the platform in the same way how Microsoft is building it, which allows for additional configuration on top of what is in there for case management without taking you to your own siloed app and locking you further down. And with that, we have created UpCITY 365. It's end-to-end municipal service management platform, which provides request types automation, being able to access and create different kind of forms requirement that, like city always have. And always, oftentimes, when you actually talk to the city, they will have their own inherent taxonomy they use for different service requests, which is very tied up to the department. And every department has set of requirements they want to know about any service request that is being created. And our solutions allows you to have a configurable approach to get those data in a, like, created by the business users itself to into the system without a heavy customizations that silos you. Okay. With that, I'll move to the next slide and I'll pass it to Robert.
Sure. Well, thanks for that lead in, Kunal. So yeah, basically we can talk a little bit about 311 and what UpCITY is in that context of Dynamics 365 contact center. So without repeating too many of the same talking points, Dynamics 365 contact center, you might be wondering, well, look, as Kunal stated, it's agnostic to the industry, right? So why wouldn't you just go ahead and choose a contact center solution that is, 100% aimed specifically at municipalities? And really the real strength of going with a platform, especially one as strong as Microsoft, is that you're supported by the ecosystem that Microsoft is giving you, right? You have all of the combined R&D strength, all of the community strength, all of the support strength of Microsoft, literally supporting this platform to be as extendable and as personalizable as possible for your needs. You don't have to worry about, it's not going to be upgraded. Support for it is going to get cut off. Performance is not something that's going to be guaranteed, et cetera, right? So that's the strength of the platform. Now, what we've done, as Kunal mentioned, is we've used our experience to look for some of the best ways to leverage that platform. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of 3-in-1 solutions out there, even for Dynamics or for Microsoft solutions, right? So there's no secret there. Our differentiator is the fact that we provide a feature parity with a lightweight solution that makes best use of the best practices and of the sort of types of solutions that are best supported by Microsoft, by that platform. So we really cut down on the implementation costs that would normally be needed with a 3-in-1 specific solution like this, right? So you've got your smart request discovery, you've got your geospatial mapping built in. You can take advantage of the routing that comes with contact center without having to jump through hoops. You've got your omni-channel that comes basically out of the box with contact center. We've proven it with telephony, we've proven it with chat and SMS and so on and so forth. And we've applied the experience that we spoke to earlier. And literally, I've worked with some of the people that are actually on the call. I've worked with, and I've worked in this space for a long time. So I think that this is one of the more impressive implementations out there. But we're really here to show you the art of the possible with contact center, because this, in my opinion, is one of the most cutting edge platforms out there. And I'm sure that Aziz can help speak to that a little bit more at the end. I also wanted to talk a little bit about one of our current clients and a current success story that we're going live with that makes use of all of the latest contact center features that we're going to be showing you on the dynamic side of things, and that is the City of Lethbridge. They're making use of the chat capabilities we're going to show, the Copilot capabilities that we're going to show, as well as the UpCITY pieces that we're going to showcase as well here today. And you can see that they've got some great quotes here about how this is going to upgrade the experience, not only for their citizens who are going to receive better service, but for their call center agents as well. It's going to make their workflow more efficient. And that's replacing it's replacing a legacy 3-in-1 system, heavyweight system that was also built on Dynamics. And it streamlines it and it improves it and makes it a lot more lightweight. So that's a recent success story for us. And I don't know if anybody wants to jump in and add to that. Kunal, if you want to jump in and add to anything I've said there before we get to the good stuff, we get to showcasing what it looks like.
Yeah, no, I think we should get to the good stuff. The chat is open, the Q&A is open. So if anybody has questions, just pop that in, and then we'll answer anything that is in there. With that, I think I'll pass it back to Robert so that you can start sharing your screen, and then we can see some action.
Okay, sounds great. So let me get my screen share going, and hopefully everybody can see my screen. Let me know if not.
We can see.
Excellent. So what I'm showcasing here is the latest and greatest Microsoft app called Copilot Service Workspace. We're going to be actually diving deep into what we've done here and what contact center is kind of all about with its omni-channel agent experience. A good place to start, though, is to look at what it looks like from the citizen's perspective. In other words, the self-service side of things. So to that end, we're also using a Microsoft solution, which is called Power Pages. So I'm going to bring up an example website that's built with Power Pages and also has our UpCITY 365 components incorporated in, right? So again, just to hammer home, Power Pages is part of the Microsoft platform, highly extensible, highly configurable, low no-code solution. And then on top of that, we've layered on our UpCITY solution to accelerate the process of tailoring it specifically for 311 and citizen engagement for cities. And this could be expanded further to permit applications. It could be expanded further to registration for city event management, all kinds of other things. because of that extensibility that I mentioned. We're going to be talking 311 today. So people need to request service from the city. They need to report issues in their community, so on and so forth. So I'm going to be showcasing a few of those features here, what that looks like from the self-service perspective, and then we'll get into more of the contact center side of things and how those two pieces interact with each other. So starting out on the home page, again, a lot of this is just sample content, but you can see up front and center, we want to provide them with search capabilities so that they can find information about the various issues that they need to report or look up, how to request service. Now, depending on the scenario, it's different from city to city. You might allow for certain service requests to be made while anonymous or unauthenticated, just providing contact info. But I'm going to showcase that you can actually reap quite a bit of benefit from encouraging residents in your communities to sign up and create an account. So I'm not going to showcase the Microsoft Entra ID account sign up process because that's kind of a fairly standard thing. I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. And once they've got a profile, one of the immediate advantages that that's going to give them is that they can track their service requests, get updates, maybe even subscribe for notifications, maybe in the form of emails, maybe in the form of text messages. They can kind of choose their own channel for that back and forth updating of information. You can see that in this example, I'm a pretty active citizen who has a lot of issues with garbage pickups, and there's potholes in my community. But these would be past service requests that I've submitted, and again, I could get updates on the status of those as I go in real time. And all of this is bringing in information from Dynamics 365 as a data source, right? Which is based on Dataverse. So again, I can look at the details. This is all configurable. Any kind of fields here, all low, no code. There's very little effort to change the look and feel of anything that you see here, but all of the key details, my contact information, the issue location, everything could be captured. And I could even, leave notes and have notes from the city show up here if there's a need for, continued two-way communication between the customer and between the 311 department or between the various departments involved. Right, so providing extra details, or I could, if I was reporting a pothole, maybe you could request it, could you provide an image of the pothole? We're having a hard time finding it, and I could drag and drop file uploads here as well. But that's pretty standard. Again, this is all based on Power Pages, all heavily supported. There's not a lot of heavy customizations here. We've just streamlined it with the UpCITY 301 piece so that you can have different request types easily set up with each with their own form fields and stuff. And we're going to show you what that looks like later. So since I'm signed in, I'm just going to quickly walk through what a self-service service request submission might look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and search. Maybe I want to report a pothole. And we'll show you some other examples. It won't just be potholes. I know that that's probably the #1 example that everyone sees with these demos. We'll mix it up a little bit. But again, simple form, all configurable. This is all based, again, on Power Pages standard configuration with, the UpCITY pieces added in, such as you can see the map integration that we have here, right? In this example, I'm showing Azure Maps. But we also have the capability to show to do Esri maps as well, with GIS capabilities, and I'll get to that in a moment. Right, so different options. I can start searching for an address, and it can find addresses in my community, and we can scope this depending on the service request type to wards within a city, or we can record the location based on different departments may divide the city in different ways. So all of those geospatial features could be leveraged as well. And the map has all kinds of the capabilities that you would expect, right? I could put a pinpoint on a map if it's more reporting a pothole at a specific street or specific location rather than an individual address, right? And it will update the address in real time, right? And then again, any additional fields that we want to present the customer with, we can add those additional fields as well. And of course, they can be made mandatory, they can be made optional. That's all 100% configurable. We could upload files, so on and so forth. All pretty much standard stuff. Okay, and once the service request has been submitted, we get a case number, and from there we're going to show you what that looks like on the Dynamics 365 stuff. So probably no big surprises. The things that I really want to stress is that all of the self-service capabilities that you would expect, right? Form submissions, issue tracking, signing up for notifications, subscriptions, profile creations, it's all pre-baked and included. And that's really important because the citizen needs to be able to easily self-serve. That's going to cut down hugely over time on the call center load, right? We want to provide them with different channels. There's always going to be people who are going to need to phone in, but we're going to cut down on the volume and improve the speed and quality of the service that we can provide to our citizens if we give them these self-service options. So another self-service option worth discussing, and one that conveniently helps me transition to the next thing that I'm going to show, which is the chat flow in Dynamics 365 Contact Center, is the chat option, right? And of course, chat option means two things. It might mean, of course, chat with a live human agent, which I'm going to show, but we can preface that with by triaging some of the simpler issues with a bot. And we all know that those bots are getting increasingly more powerful. So if I'm on the portal as a citizen, I click Let's Chat, it's going to connect me initially with an agent. And they've really, really evolved from the days of the bots that can only recognize 2 or 3 options, and for everything else it says, sorry, I don't understand you, right? Now we all know that that these agents actually leverage the LLM-based AI, right? And that here's this no exception. By utilizing Copilot Studio, we can create a very intelligent bot solution that draws its knowledge only from the sources that we tell it to. So for example, it's not going to go out and search the web for incorrect answers. It's going to hallucinate. It'll cite its sources directly from the knowledge that we provided. So for example, how do I report a pothole? Right, and it's going to provide me with answer based specifically on the question that I give it. Although, every once in a while when you're doing a demo, things don't always function right away. So we'll move on past that. It was working about 5 minutes ago. So we've all been there. So maybe we can come back to that. But the good news is that this is actually, today's topic was basically everything other than this, because the webinar that we discussed, that's going to happen on September 18th. So look forward to that. We're going to be showcasing this heavily, the AI-based bot on the portal for citizens doing self-service, and we'll really show you the power of what this thing can do. It's just not fully baked here for this demo here today. I'll skip to the next step for now. Maybe we'll circle back, maybe we won't, but stay tuned for that webinar in September, because that's what that webinar is all about. You will be seeing some AI today, though, so don't worry, because contact center is all about AI, just not on the self-service side. So let me continue with the next part of the demo. So I talk to an agent, please, and it will connect me with an agent. So I've moved that to the other screen. I've got the chat still going on the other screen, and the AI did recognize that that's what I wanted, fortunately. So we're in business. You can see that here in Customer Service Workspace, as an agent, I've received a message to accept or reject the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept that. Now, prior to that, something I maybe should have mentioned is that I had set my status to available, right? So, of course, agents can control their status. This is all basic to the call center type scenario, right? Not sure why. Yeah, something to do with the bot. It made two chats pop up.
It might have been Robert me requesting on the portal when you said something didn't work. So I just.
Oh, I see. Maybe Kunal had his chat window open. So
it is me.
Well, those little glitches. All right, no problem. So let's. This is my chat. You can see. Can I talk to an agent, please? That's the last thing that I said. So here we have the chat going. Again, all of the types of IVR capabilities that you would expect for agents to be able to have are available here. You can set your status. You can make outgoing phone calls and emails with the click of a button. And when a chat comes in and you accept the chat, you can see the entire chat history that the customer had with the bot, right? So if we had a longer conversation, you would see that. And you get AI embedded right from the get-go, right? So right from the get-go, you see that we have this conversation summary, and the AI is explaining what that conversation was all about. Now, this conversation summary isn't super interesting because not much has happened in this chat so far, but we'll see it get fleshed out kind of as we go here. Now, there's a lot of other baked-in capabilities with Dynamics 365 Contact Center. It really does kind of have all of the key things that you would look for with a solution. In front of me, I have the conversation panel, and in this case, you'll see that a bunch of stuff is lighting up right out of the gate. For example, you can see that the contact is known. Now, the reason why is because I was signed in on the portal. If I hadn't have been, then it would have asked me some questions like my name, my phone number. The bot would ask those questions up front. And if I said, I'm not going to talk to the bot, I need to talk to a human, then the human could ask me those same questions and then do a search and find the correct customer if they already exist in the system, or create a new customer. In this case, it saved me a lot of time because I have all that information in front of me. And when I say all that information, I don't just mean their phone number, their email, their address. I mean past cases that they've submitted, right? The history of the service requests that they've made in the past, the past chats that they have, including when it's been enabled, the transcripts for those chats. You can see that in this environment, we have it disabled in most cases to save storage space or whatever, but you could access the transcript of those past chats by expanding that as well. And you can see that we get AI highlights once again embedded, right? So you can see that the history, right? Missed garbage pickups, large potholes, customer interacted frequently with virtual assistants, right? They received good service the last time, right? So we get the highlights of the history of this specific customer at our fingertips that we can quickly read to kind of know what we're talking about. And of course, we can manually enter notes about this specific conversation or this specific customer as well. I mean, all of those capabilities that you'd expect come kind of pre-baked, if that makes sense. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to respond to the customer. They've been patiently waiting for my response. Now, of course, I can type, but I can also make use of pre-baked canned responses as well. And this can all be configured and customized. These are very generic, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Right. So thank you for contacting 311. My name is Robert. One moment while I access your information, etc. Now, if I didn't have their information, this is where I would ask them for their contact details. But in any case, here I'm just going to, and again, I have it open in the other window. How do I report a missed garbage pickup? Okay, now what you'll see lighting up here, or maybe you don't see it, which is why I'm pointing it out, is again those powerful AI capabilities of Copilot, right? That comes with Dynamics 365 Contact Center, right? So right here we have this intent-based suggestions. It's picked up on the fact that they want to report a missed garbage pickup, right? So I can just click here to request a solution, and that's automatically going to prompt the AI to do a search to find the steps involved with reporting a missed garbage pickup, right? And this is drawing from our knowledge base itself that we've set up in Dynamics, right? It's not doing a web search, it's not hallucinating anything. It's drawing that information from Dynamics itself. I can even click here, right, to go to that knowledge base article that we've set up where the information is coming from, right? So you control what the AI knows, right? You control that information. We could put a garbage pickup schedule here, and then you could ask the AI, you know, what time is their garbage going to be picked up based on their postal code. Agents could be given instructions on how to handle specific types of requests. Anything that you want, you don't have to rely on the knowledge-based search to search the knowledge base and know kind of what you're looking for. The agent can just ask the AI a question and it will find the answer. And it can even tailor that answer or refine that answer to very specific questions. Of course, we do have at our fingertips here a more general knowledge-based search where I can search, and there's other capabilities here as well. And I can even start a Teams chat with the supervisor or something like that if I wanted, or with the customer. But you know, 90% of the time, this is going to kind of give us what we need. So I can copy that information and give it to the customer, or I can preface it with additional questions, or I could offer to submit a service request on their behalf. In this case, let's say the customer wants help doing that. So the customer is asking for, you know, help. Can you help me submit in this garbage case? And I'll say, sure, one moment. Okay, so at this point, we want to create a new case, and this is really where the UpCITY pieces definitely come in, right? So if I can click here on new case, okay, again, here it's a pretty standard Microsoft Dynamics form capabilities here, but we've layered on some specific 301 pieces that are pretty robust and extensible. And that is that we have an entire kind of hierarchy of different types of services that can be provided, right? And you know, a lot of municipalities, they might have dozens or even hundreds of these different service request types, and each of them might have different sorts of form fields that they need, different sorts of requirements and capabilities for each one. And the tricky thing is the time to implement that as a whole bunch of separate tables, right, is pretty substantive. And often, you know, if you want to show hide fields based on different things, there's a lot of JavaScript and a lot of configuration here. So we've cut down on that hugely with the solution that we've layered on. So that's something I'm very proud of. So I'm going to just quickly do a search for missed garbage pickup. You can see maybe I've done a demo or two. So my browser has remembered that I wanted to look for that. So I'm going to click on missed garbage pickup. And you can see right away that it's already showing specific fields that are specific to missed garbage pickup, right? So that's all 100% easily configurable. And I'll show you what that looks like briefly kind of at the end. So, you know, maybe it's asking me, you know, what time did I put my garbage out? So I put it out. I put it out yesterday at, you know, 5 a.m. or whatever. It was put out on the curb, you know, on the curb, black bags, and I put out 2 of them, so I should be good, right? And again, I'm cutting down on time here. Realistically, maybe the agent is asking them questions like, did you were you sure to put it out before this time? Are you sure that there were no tags missing, so on and so forth? But I'm not going to show you every single nuance here. The key thing is that, again, I can, pick the address. And then once I'm done saving this case, AI insights are going to show up as the case kind of gets updated, which again, in the interest of time, we won't show you those updates, but we have a case summary here. The AI is probably going to say there's not enough information because I just submitted it. But as we make updates to the case, as we push it through the case process, it's going to actually be able to summarize each and every case leveraging AI. So I'm going to come back over to the screen, and you can see here that I have a case number to give them. So again, leveraging those quick responses, I can provide them with that information. Now, again, just trying to keep it short, just in the interest of time, but I mean, the contact center has a lot of different capabilities. For example, I can transfer this to another person, another chat, escalate it up the chain. I can even bring in a third person into this chat so we can have a 3-way chat. Like, all of that is baked in here. And everything that I just said is also true of the telephony side, which I'll briefly showcase, because you might be wondering if this is just chat. It's not. But given that I've shown you all this, we'll just wrap up this chat. And if there's any questions, you can also type those into the Q&A of the webinar. But I do see we do have limited time. That I could just go on and on about all the awesome features here of Contact Center. So we'll wrap this up. Anything else I can help you with today? And I'll just point out real quick before I end this that we have sentiment analysis AI-based, baked right in. And once I've saved this, supervisors do have the capability to go in and view the transcript and hear the call recordings if it's a call, and view the sentiment analysis that's been generated in the AI insights and all that good stuff, right? Just in the interest of time, we'll kind of speed things up here a little bit. So I've ended that, and I can close that out. So I'm also going to just briefly show you, it's a lot of the same things, so I might skip forward a little bit, but actually there's the telephony option as well, and that's something that doesn't get demoed often enough, I think, because there's more opportunity for things to go wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a recording of what that looks like. And the thing I want to stress, let me get that video started here. The thing I want to stress is that it is the same UX, the same unified omnichannel experience for both telephony and chat. That's one of the key strengths of Dynamics 365 Contact Center specifically, is that you get to leverage the same thing, whether it's a voice or chat. You notice the same pop-up here, same procedure. And now we've got a colleague on a call, taking a call. And again, you see all the same AI capabilities and everything here. So we only hear, I don't even know if you hear that. We only hear Ravneet's audio, but I'm on the other end saying what I need. Something about my garbage not being picked up. Notice the summary and AI stuff coming up right away.
Robert, it seems like you're not sharing the audio when you played the video. There should be a button on top saying share audio.
I'm mostly speaking to the audio. So Ravneet just asked me what my first and last name is. I don't know how to share the audio, but there's not a whole lot from Ravneet actually. So he's asking for me to confirm my phone number and everything, right? Which would be standard procedure. You can see that actually it's popped up automatically, right? So once again, because I was a known caller, recognized phone number, it populated the customer right away. Right? Same thing as what you saw with the chat, right? Same thing with the history of phone calls and emails all coming up automatically. And notice that in this case, we're seeing a past email. The AI actually directed my colleague to look at this email. And you can see from this email that I was having issues because my driveway looked different. It's hard to see. And that's probably why the garbage wasn't picked up. Right? So again, those past insights are coming into play here. That 360-degree view of the customer is one of the most powerful features of this whole thing, right? And with that, we can serve the customer better. Okay, so he's going through, he's looking at my past information. I'm just going to kind of skip to the end here. And once the information is provided, he can hang up the call. Right, and again, it's all being captured with the transcript, and again, we have the AI insights baked in, right? So same UX, same platform for both voice, for chat, for SMS, et cetera, et cetera. You can configure new custom channels. It's all possible with Contact Center.
Robert, if you don't mind, can we
Yeah.
show the omni-channel dashboard? I think
Absolutely. I was wondering if I didn't think we had enough time, but I'll do that. So
Kunal,
if we've got time to do that, let's do it.
I put the link in the chat as well, just in case we had less time.
So as we were talking about the platform earlier, we talked about Power BI. So, like that's the engine we use for all the reporting. And I think Aziz has put the link about omni-channel report that is kind of baked in. So you can actually see how many agents are there, how many calls are being received, what calls are in queue, what's going on. So you have and two reports comes out of the box. One is the real time, so it tells you what's happening now, and there is another one which is historical, so you can see how people have been performing. So you can see agent performance, you can see bot performance, you can see all different metrics with the system. And then further, these reports could be extended to really provide you the metrics that you want. Now, some of the things we are not touching base because, like some of those things are very native to the platform. Say, for example, if you're going through a list of case, you can just go up on top of the case and you say, visualize this in Power BI, and then it will automatically create the dashboard and the reporting for you. The other thing is that we saw the experience more from the agent perspective, but Copilot is not only for the agent. There is a Copilot for service baked into the platform. So, like even supervisors can come in and ask the Copilot, like, hey, how things are going, or show me about the history of the case. You can go to a case, open a case record. It will immediately tell you what has been going on. And, like sometimes you have somebody reported an issue had been running for 2 months and you don't know where things are, and you don't have to cycle to for half an hour to figure out what's going on. You go into the case, it will open up a case summary right in front of you saying like what's going on and what has happened. And it actually gets all that information from the voice transcription, the chat transcription, the emails you have said, the SMS you might have said. It is cohesive, irrespective of the channel you might have used to actually get to that information. Yes, so accessibility is a key key factor every time we do. And, like we use certain testing tool to actually make sure that, like what we are launching out is really accessible, is going to really work for everybody. It's very important to make sure that the services are not for the chosen few, it's for everybody.
Now, Kunal, I think maybe Aziz wanted to we only have 5 minutes left here. Maybe we want to touch on those ending points. I know there were some points that Aziz is going to make about some funding options and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll turn it back over to you if there's any slides you want to share or anything like that.
Yep, that's all.
Thanks
with
for that.
Samantha and Kunal.
So I'm sharing my screen again. Okay. And I'll let Aziz talk about, this is the favorite slide of all the slides we had today. So over to you, Aziz.
Yeah, and just like Kunal, kind of in the last 8-9 years, I also had a chance to be part of a lot of these. We did a full journey of the Durham region as well. Kunal and team were involved at that time as well. City of Hamilton went through their first round of Dynamics 365 customer service implementations as well. There's a lot going on. I'm not saying any of this is easy. All of this requires a lot of work from both the partner and the customer side to put some real solid participation. But what I'm saying is that we're putting a lot of investments in the platform, a lot of investments for the partners to skill up, and at the same time working with the customer directly as well. So Kunal already talked about the Let's Bridge as well. There's a lot of work going on the Quebec side with the Will de Laval and Montreal Quebec side as well. From a transit perspective, TTC, Metrolinx, they're all using Dynamics 365 omni-channel. Ontario, within the service Ontario, which is pretty massive, they're using Dynamics 365 as well to manage their contact center work. City of London has been using it. I mean, I can kind of almost keep going on and on and on. Burnaby has been in the journey as well for last year plus. So there's a lot of these customers and a lot more who are almost in pipeline that you will see in the next 6 months. My point being that cities are realizing that it's taking a long time for their own projects and their own initiatives to actually come through because of these disjointed systems, and because of that, it increases cost and it decreases satisfaction. It doesn't help in terms of incentivizing your residents to actually stay within your own constituency. So that's another big thing. It also hurts the economic development within the city and the municipality as well. So all in all, this is a very beneficial conversation for us as Canadians, and trying to make our cities better places to live for our residents. I mean, that's a kind of a big conversation, and at the same time, save cost while doing so. So you saw the demo. There's so much potential. What we're seeing is that instead of just kind of living in that past with the disjointed stuff, with doing repetitive stuff again and again, going into the old knowledge way of accessing knowledge or using the silos, I think now it's time to start looking into a 3-1-1 solution, which brings not just your processes that you need, but with the AI. And then this is where we're infusing a lot of the AI. All these agents are going to be built into Dynamics 365. There's no additional cost, or there's no additional work that you need to do. The intent agent, knowledge agent, and case agent, they're all already there within Dynamics 365, specifically customer service that we're talking about. So, we're saying that the agent is doing the discovery at the start of it, which is where Robert was trying to kind of show the bot as well, which hopefully will do a little bit of a better, deeper dive on the next session. So that's where the intent discussion comes in. And once you have the intent, then the knowledge agent can come in and basically get the right knowledge and be able to kind of put that knowledge directly. All of this is autonomous, by the way. There's no human interaction needed for this particular piece, so that really heavy focus on the self-service. At the same time, with the case management, when you have a tier 1 or tier 2 agent, then you can actually have human plus agent interaction. So every human will have agent as part of their team. So you can faster that particular communication and then move on to the next one, because the agents are generally swamped within the city. So it's not that we're saying that there will not be a need for agent. In fact, the contrary, they can actually do much better work on it with the city as well, with the agents, with the digital agents and the human agents can have the partnership. Too much fun in this. So just not wasting time. Last kind of 30 seconds on my side. This tremendous amount of funding options that Microsoft has put together. I would say the number one funding is available for contact center, almost the like-to-like funding in terms of a deployment. If there is, let's say, a 100K spend, that could be a potential of 100K funding that you can leverage with the partner as well. There's also a pretty significant funding that we have put together for low-code and Copilot Studio with agent building. So if you're thinking about the use cases to build those agents, again, come and talk to us, your partners as well, how they can help you with that, and how we can put the funding which will help with your total cost of ownership, and of course the faster return on investments as well. So there's funding on that. There's funding on business process improvement, POCs, pilots, and whatnot. So just again, wanted to put this out there. Connect with Kunal, myself, and for any of these conversations. That's 2 p.m. Kunal, back to you.
Okay, so I've got just 2 slides, so that's easy. Number one thing, and one of the things, and this is basically talking with municipalities, cities, with Microsoft and everything, we find that there is a myth that implementing a 365 Dynamics 365 contact centers takes a long time. It's a year-long project. It's a long-running project that actually happens. And what we have found is with the Dynamics 365 and UpCITY combination, we are able to actually release this in production in your environment within a 12 weeks time frame, right? And that's where we have actually come up with this 311 ready box, where we can actually do an engagement with you. It's a 12-week engagement, working with you, and we build everything that you saw and more in the time frame. The other things we are actually providing is we have a workshop that we do, which is basically 311 assessment and readiness assessment and seeing where you are with 311. If you are using Dynamics 365, we can come and see that are you really being able to use and leverage it the way you want? Or if you're not using Dynamics 365, then we come in and do the workshop with you to help you out with that journey and look into it where the readiness is, right? The next conference that's actually happening right away is actually MISA BC conference that's happening in BC in Victoria. My team will be there. Robert will be there. You see Samantha on the camera there. Samantha will be there. So like if you're going to be there, please book your time. And in case anybody else wants to have a chat, have a workshop, there is a QR code as well as Josh has put the link in the chat, so you can fill up the form and connect with our team, and we can actually show you what is the realm of possible. Now the demo we saw case management per se, but the same platform also works for permits. And we also have the permit extension built in, so you can actually use the platform for permit management and things like that. We didn't capture or go into how the cases are handled behind the scene. And that is also an important part of the conversation. And we are talking about doing another demo around it. But like generally they get handled either within the Dynamics 365, sometimes using field service, or we integrate it with solutions like CityWorks or Tempest, solutions like that. And we already have baked integration with CityWorks currently. So like any of those things are possible. Book your free workshops, but we are ready for any questions. We've been answering questions on the chat, but if anybody wants to go ask questions, come off mute, just message on the chat. We'll take you off mute, and then you can ask the question, or you can put in the question in the chat. Thank you all for joining. It was great having you in the webinar today, and look forward to seeing you in the next webinar next month.